Ángela Clúa, thank you so much for joining us here at the EPFL Pavilion for this visit of this new exhibition, What is Art? This exhibition is dedicated to innovative solar technologies and integrated solar panels, as we can discover here. You are working as an architect and you are specialized in the field of sustainable architecture, working as well as what we call active facade. So I wanted to know first, to begin, how do you see these kind of new technologies and how these kind of devices make your work evolve in terms of creativity, of constructive possibilities? How does it impact your practice of architecture?
Okay, so right now, architecture, let's say norms, ask us to integrate photovoltaic systems to help providing the building with renewable energy.
Yeah.
And what most architects do is hide this technology on the roof.
Okay.
Because what we have is not, let's say, it's not beautiful. It's, let's say, it's a building service, and as such, we put it on the roof or we try to hide it.
Yeah.
What these systems allow us to do, as a pleasing element, we can integrate it in a visible part, in a public part of the building, such as the facade.
Okay.
So what this permits us is to multiply the surface with the potential of becoming active in a building.
Yeah.
So notably increase the potential of producing energy in a building.
Okay. And about the integration of this kind of integrated solar panels, as you mentioned, so solar panels are not something new. Architects use this kind of technology for a long time. But of course, to be more widely integrated, it needed to be more beautiful and to have a better aesthetic dimension. And now, as we can see, it's definitely the case. We have beautiful solar panels with a modifiable aesthetic dimension. So is it really easier for you now as an architect to integrate this kind of product in a new building, or do you still have some obstacle to that?
Regarding construction, it's very easy because in the end it's a glass panel, and we're used to construct buildings with glass facades.
Yeah.
So we take the fixing system of those facades and the know-how of this construction, and we just apply it. It's very simple, just 2 points that differ from a glass facade. And regarding the aesthetics, actually, it opens a wide range of possibilities that we can. We can have liberty of colors, shapes, textures, so that we're not as constrained as we were before with the regular photovoltaic panel. Now we have a wide range of possibilities to integrate it.
Great, I see. Okay, and you know, as an architect, of course, you're often seen as a key actor in order to promote and develop this kind of new technologies. But of course, you're not working alone. You have to deal with a lot of different players like economic decision makers, owners, industrial partners and clients. So I wanted to know, as an architect, what degree of sensitivity to sustainable challenges do you perceive among your partners and clients? Do you feel like they are really aware of the sustainable issues we are facing now? How do you feel about that?
Well, I think most architects are very aware and are eager to integrate this kind of technologies. It's a challenge, and I think every architect likes new challenge.
Yeah.
The problem, well, it's not a problem. The issue, the thing, is that client is king, and client is paying.
Yeah.
So when the client is not assured that he's going to have a good initial investment, that he's going to have a good long-term performance, economic performance, he's not going to go forward and take the risk.
Yeah.
So right now, for example, for me as an architect, okay, I have this expertise on how to integrate it, and I'm very comfortable with it. But what I'm doing right now is more than a design work, it's an Excel and calculation work to calculate how much does this cost as an initial investment, how much does this cost as with a maintenance long term, and how much I am going to save money-wise long term, and how many years.
Yeah.
And it also depends what kind of client do I have. Is a client that is going to construct and sell, or is a client that is going to construct and keep it? because it's very different. The client who constructs and says it's only interested by the initial investment, and the client who's going to construct and rent the apartment, for example, or a museum and keep the museum or whatever, he's very interested also in how much that it's cost long term. So there is when photovoltaic technology is very interesting, because it shows that it actually has a very good performance economically wise.
Okay, I see. And how do you see your role and your possibilities as an architect in order to kind of educate the client or promote this kind of technology? Do you feel like you have a decision-making power or some realistic possibilities to make the client adopt and opt for this kind of devices?
I think with long-term investment, long-term performance, it's very easy to convince a client, because it becomes very obvious that we're going to save so much money. And it also, energy is very linked to politics, and
definitely.
you know, the cost of energy increases every year. So if we take into account how much did we pay 10 years ago for 1 watt of electricity, and how much we're going to pay in 10 years, if we add this to the equation, it becomes very easy to convince the client, listen, let's look at the evolution of energy costs till now, and what happens if you are producing your own energy. You're not depending on an external price or company that are selling. You become your own, let's say, controller of the cost of your energy and your building. So that's let's say, when the client controls the costs, the long-term cost, he's very reassured and he likes it.
Okay, so this is a way to
this is a good marketing strategy to sell photovoltaics.
I see, interesting. And what about the link you have to build and develop with the solar industry? Because it feels like sometimes the architects could have more support or more information coming from the solar panel producers, not just to sell them their product, but just to explain them how it works, how they could integrate it more easily. So how do you try to build this link with the solar panel producers, and do you feel like good synergies are emerging from this link with them?
For this, it's very important to have an interdisciplinary work and interdisciplinary forums and professional development, let's say. Me, myself, I work with Laura Manuel Perret. She's a photovoltaic specialist. Let's say she's specialized in the panels, in the technology, and I'm specialized in the building scale. So this makes very good synergies at the time to, when we do consulting on how to integrate it. If there's not this synergy between two different professions, there are the firms, the construction firms like Swissbau. But in this situation, well, with coronavirus, we didn't have the opportunity, but these forums are a very good opportunity for architects to encounter industry and to understand, to see, to touch new technologies, and to take that home and then investigate and do research on how to integrate these new systems in buildings. Yeah,
interesting. And just a few words as well about the academic program when you're studying or learning architecture, because if I'm right, sustainability is just a very small part of the whole academic program. So how do you feel about that? Do we need to reshape the program in order to let architects learn more about sustainable issues? And what about after graduation? Could they have more support or like professional learning program in order to be taught about this kind of technologies?
Well, I think in EPFL, when I finished my studies, energy and sustainability was not like a hot topic. But my years in EPFL, I actually saw that students have the opportunity to get formed on sustainability issues. They choose. So a student needs to want to learn about it, but he can. He has all the means in EPFL. Once we graduate, there's Minergie, and the SEA is like Architecture and Engineers Association in Switzerland, and they actually organize a lot of seminars and a lot of webinars. And there's a lot of very good information available. We just need to look for it.
Okay. And maybe one last word as well about the standardization of the solar panels, because of course now the European industry is growing with this kind of new technologies, but still China is dominating the production of standard solar panels. Is it, so how do you tackle this problem or this constraint of the standardization of the solar panels production and the specific needs you have on a specific architectural project?
Yeah, so this was one of the main issues that I studied while developing my thesis.
Yeah.
In fact, what we have is, well, most panels are made of they are glass panel based. So we have a panel that comes from China with an optimal dimension. It arrives here, and then we do the panels, and we don't want to waste any part of the glass. So we take this same format, but photovoltaic industry does not think where is this panel going to be integrated.
I see.
So when it goes into architecture and we want to integrate it into facades, in construction we have very, let's say, standardized measures. Let's say a normal height of a story is 250. A normal composition of the horizontal slab is between 35 and 40. So these measures are going to define what kind of facade covering we need.
Exactly.
So there still need this, let's say, this interconnection between different players in the photovoltaic industry and construction industry, so that both can match the needs of each other.
So you, as an architect, you would definitely need some more like tailor-made solution for developing specific size of solar panels.
But we can call it tailor-made, but what if the photovoltaic industry came to look for the architectural measures and then made that their standard? We wouldn't call it tailor-made anymore. So there's this synergy that needs to be developed a little bit more.
Okay. Thank you so much for this explanation.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot.
It was very interesting. And I don't know if do you want to see the last panels?
Yeah, it looks great.
I personally like this one very much.
Yeah? It's your favorite?
I see myself using this in a building.
Okay. Okay. So you know the product very well as an architect, already using these devices, right?
I'd love to. We have only done like prototypes, but
okay, it's still a bit early to...
We need a good client.
I see. Great.
A brave client.
Exactly. Okay.